Roadworm.
Hey Craig.
Sup?
Have you heard of the story about Hans the hacker?
No. Tell me.
There's a story out there about a guy who's taking girls, and the last thing the girls hear is 5 hacks. Hack. 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 Hack.
What's with this red sheet?
It's Drew.
You guys want to watch Suspiria?
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Soundtrack by Gun.
Hey, why don't you close it?
Idiot. Yeah, I always thought it was funny when she said that.
It was just the wind.
Yeah, she just stares at it.
Hey, why don't you close it?
Sorry.
Albert, please wait for me upstairs. He's my nephew. I'm very attached to him.
Look at that outfit.
You'll find several fellow Americans among these girls. Miriam, for one.
Hello. Hi.
Sup? I'm from Jersey.
You'll find everything in there except shoes. For today, you can borrow shoes from someone who has 2 pairs.
Call me Tanya 2 pairs. I got 2 pairs of shoes. Maggots! Maggot! Pull the maggot alarm! The girls are dirty. Oh, salami. Send the salami to your boy in the army. Send the salami to your boy in the army. Just make sure it don't have any maggots on it. Oh, okay. Now it all makes sense.
That's awesome.
That's her, the one who's snoring. She's the directress.
You didn't get close enough, James.
I don't think you want me close like that.
The teachers, remember? Can you hear them?
Okay, now hit it with the blue light. Now hit it with the blue light.
Can you hear them?
Not the red. It's not the blue. Very nice.
That's a sick move. You put the whole body in. Kiss her now. Get out of there, girl. You have been watching Suspiria. Someone hit the self-destruct button.
You have been watching Suspiria!
That's it.
Ender with a big bang!
Sicky.
That's pretty sweet, actually, yeah. That was awesome.
All right, that was Suspiria. To start off, Suspiria, directed by the Italian director Dario Argento, made in 1977. An Italian-made film
with an American lead about an American woman who travels to Germany to take part in ballet at a prestigious dance academy. Lo and behold, there are some grisly murders and deaths that take place surrounding this academy and inside the academy. We should probably mention that there's going to be spoilers for this. So if you haven't seen Suspiria yet, don't watch the rest of this review. But we do recommend you go and check it out.
Yeah, so this was my 5th viewing of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the 4th in this 4K restoration. But I originally seen it a few years ago. My wife showed it to me. And I thought it was pretty good. I heard that Synapse was releasing this on Blu-ray with a brand new 4K restoration. And that they were, not only that, but they were going around and showing them at cinemas across North America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost like a Comic-Con thing.
Right, right.
Something like that. I hadn't seen any other Dario Argento movies. I was familiar with the fact that he was one of the big guys with the Italian genre of giallo.
Is that what it's called?
Giallo, I believe it's pronounced. It's very Hitchcocky murder mystery.
You're right.
Made in
yeah.
like Italy production movies.
I've always heard of him. He's a very famous Italian horror director.
And I think this is his most well-known movie.
Yes, yeah. I had always heard about Suspiria. I had seen images of Suspiria. I knew that it was a cult classic, a must-see horror film. But I didn't know much about it.
Okay.
And this was the first time that I had seen this. But I was expecting to be a sort of a up to your interpretation kind of art house film.
It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. It was very straightforward. It had a really good original premise.
But simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Very simple. I got a little more answers than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Enough to keep me entertained.
Enough to tell a story.
Right.
What I loved about the movie was the music.
Trying to make music for a movie, Mom! Leave us alone!
Which band,
by the way, is
what were they called? The Goblins?
Goblins, yeah.
So this particular set is a exclusive 40th anniversary 4K restoration by Synapse Films distribution company. This set comes with not only the original poster art and a nice sleeve, it also comes with a very nice steel book case.
Yeah, that's pretty.
On both sides.
New commissioned artwork.
New commissioned artwork, sort of your minimalist pop art. Also, when you open it up here, you get a nice little booklet. You've got a catalog of other Synapse Films releases. You have 2 discs. You have the feature film. You have special features, and probably the best part, the soundtrack on the film. And speaking of the 4K restoration, now I had nothing to compare this to because I'd never seen it before, but the image was breathtaking. The restoration, the clarity, the color, everything, it looked brand spanking new. It looked absolutely.
Yeah, and having seen a DVD or a VHS copy or whatever it was, like watching this on Blu-ray in the 4K, it really pops his visual, like with the colors and the lighting and the set design. It just brings it to the forefront. And then on top of that, the sound mix on this was the most bizarre I've ever heard.
Was
I think
4.0?
Yeah, it's a 4.0 original mix.
Right.
And like I've got a sound system at home.
Right.
And it sounded great there, but then watching it on your sound bar was tripping us out.
Yeah.
Because you're using your sound bar speaker, which is in front of us.
You got speakers hooked up back there? No, I know, it sounds like it's coming from behind. Yeah, I know. Holy it's this 4.0 audio that they that's crazy.
It was like coming up behind us.
Yeah.
It was great. I'll have to say that from what I've seen, this is the best restoration of an older movie before high def that I've ever seen. The distribution company Synapse appears they have the rights to a lot of the Dario Argento movies, especially from that era. They did a release of Tenebrae. They did a release of a movie called Phenomena with Jennifer Connelly. But they do very limited releases. Like this was 6,000 copies. I'm sure they'll do a regular release after with maybe just the movie. But yeah, so I believe this is already sold out. I feel, especially how popular Suspiria is in relation to the other ones, that they'll do a regular release so more people can get their hands on it.
This movie is eye candy. It's just visually striking. The lighting, the colors, the set design. I mean, there's just so much vibrancy there. I mean, you've got blue velvet curtains, and you've got red sheets, and you've got striking blue wallpaper. Really, just the set design is just so operatic.
And it's even funny when they move from like set to set or room to room, like each room has like a primary color set.
That's right.
And then when they change room, all of a sudden it's a different, they go from a red room to a blue room to a yellow room. And they even, without picking up on that, they say it in the movie too. It's like, hey, where are we going for class today? We're going to class in the yellow room today.
Oh, that's
or
right.
We're meeting in the red room.
I love how they're able to control the color too. Like you don't see it bleeding into, like in the scene, they'll be using red and blue, but they're able to like separate the colors.
Yeah, they may use like a blue on the foreground on the actor's face, and then but behind them is like a bright red on the wall.
Put the red light on it. Yeah, not a green. Yeah. When the red light turns out, I want the green light to come.
The green light or the blue? The green light.
Vincenzo, how many times do I tell you? The green light. Dario, what? Yeah, Dario. I'm sorry. Come on, Dario, you need to tell me so many times. Come on. Mama should tell me the blue. Hey. Why the f*** is there a white light? Where's the blue light? Yeah. I could have just said we any like that.
Cigar goes fly.
I did the red light. I did the red light coming out of the door. Okay, she's gonna leave the green room into the red room. No, we got the Italian flag on the wall. Dario, there's too many lights. Dario, there's too many red lights. I can't see what the f she's doing on camera. Where is this red light even coming from?
I want to see that.
Your mother's asshole. I don't care where it comes from. It's a red light. Chance, I need 6 more red lights on this wall. 6! Dario, you can't put 6 more. Mamma mia, Dario! He's on his knees like, Dario, come on! That's the part! Okay, now she goes from the red to the blue. The chances are
This being an Italian production, just a little like it's very much like the spaghetti westerns that were done the decades prior.
Yeah.
Where there was an Italian production, they got Italian crew, they filmed somewhere in Europe, but they had actors from America, Germany, Italy, Spain.
Right.
And
usually an American lead.
Yeah, American lead, which is, now that I've seen a few other Dario Argento movies, is commonplace. It's always an American lead somewhere in Europe.
Right.
But anyway, so what happened normally on set is all these different actors from different countries would deliver all their lines in their native tongue. So if I'm speaking English to you, you would speak back in Italian. So neither of us understand what we're saying. They would do it phonetically.
Yeah.
Like they would not know English, but they would get like a coach to say, "This is your line." And then this is your line. Not knowing what he's saying, but he's saying it.
Right.
And I don't know if that's so the dubbing would look better or so the other actors are understanding when they can, deliver their line. I think the first 15 minutes are probably the best known from this movie. Like, to me, that's the best scene. I don't know how you guys felt about
the murder?
The initial murders
are
probably the most memorable, most striking visually as well, in a movie full of striking visuals. And even the sets, like when this other student that you meet, that you follow, when she goes into that apartment complex, and the set design of that like lobby, for instance, and then right away
the elevator.
The elevator, and right away they show that skylight, the multicolored skylight.
Yeah.
So, and then we're greeted to a couple of extremely grisly murders.
Oh my god. Oh!
2 birds.
Already, eh?
And then it's quick, it's graphic, it's upsetting, and then it kind of just shuts right off. They play it off like a slasher, kind of like it's a murderer, but you find out later that that's not quite what it is, right? And but they give you visual cues like glowing eyes and stuff. That this isn't just a normal maniac, right? And then the rest of the movie is spent following our main character at the ballet. She's unsettled about hearing about this person's murder and possibly being the last person to see her alive. And then she meets the teachers and the other students at the school, and she kind of feels out of place.
The suspense in this movie is great. It plays out very well. A prime example is the scene where Daniel, after he's fired from the academy, walks out into that town square with his dog, and it's just a build up and build up and build up, and you don't know what's going on, and you think he's being stalked, and you're waiting for someone to come out of the shadows and kill him, and the music is going and building and building, and you don't know what's happening, and then out of nowhere, his own dog attacks him and kills him.
Oh no!
Or the scene where the girl, or Sarah, is trying to get out of that room, climbing out the window, and next thing you know, she falls into a room that has barbed wire.
Didn't see that coming. Not at all.
Damn it, who just lays all this wire hanging around? Who fills a room with barbed wire?
Really messes your mind up, like,
you
know, what's really at work here.
Right. So obviously it's something supernatural.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, they answered enough questions, but one of the questions is, what exactly is this? What's the purpose of the school?
Yeah, the cult.
Because it turns out that it's a coven of witches. Coven of witches.
But they never really, followed up more with
what was the
dance and what kind of work they were doing. Like,
are they sucking the life out of these young women? Who's involved, who isn't?
It seemed like they were kind of doing that, sucking the life out to keep alive,
to keep their youth or something.
Or the head witch.
What was her name?
Oh, I can't remember.
She had an American name, didn't she? Or like
it was like Monica. I can't remember.
You wanna kill me?
There is this sort of ancient woman who's kind of immortal, been living all these hundreds of years, and they're kind of keeping her alive in this secret room.
I've been expecting you, the American girl. I knew you'd come. You want to kill me? You want to kill Elena Marcus?
Freaking out. Yeah, freaking out.
The supernatural stuff kicks in big time. Like a zombie.
Yeah, a woman that comes back to, who's been killed, that comes back to life as a killer.
And then the witch can turn invisible.
Yeah,
they can't see her.
Yeah.
Going on.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, damn it. There you go.
everything, all hell starts breaking
Yeah,
loose.
all the other witches
fall apart.
Yeah, all the other witches start dying. And,
the house just goes up in flames,
Mhm.
and she just runs out, walks out in the rain, just, you know, almost overjoyed. And then you've been watching Suspiria,
and that whole ending plays out like
blows up. Sorry.
Yeah, the school blows up.
Yeah.
But that whole
Ends
ending,
with a bang.
but it plays out like each kind of murder, where they set it up and they keep building it, and then all of a sudden it just abruptly ends.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised by the sort of somewhat happy ending. I mean, the hero lives, the bad guys die, and she gets out.
Yeah, I give it a right on. Like you said, it's beautiful imagery. The cast was great. Music, a lot of suspense, and beautiful deaths. It's a good movie. So I give it a right on.
I really enjoyed this. I didn't think I was going to like it. I didn't think I was going to like the type of film it was. The directing style was great. I mean, this was just a beautiful movie to look at. Soundtrack, excellent. It may sound a little hypocritical, but the only thing that's holding me back a little bit is the violence. Even though the violence was kind of over the top, and even though the violence was very colorful, the blood looking like paint, you know, that Technicolor look, the violence was a little bit too much for me. So I'm going to give this a meh. I'm going to give this a solid meh, because this did exceed my expectations. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the release is awesome.
Mhm.
I know it comes with the soundtrack. I
Yeah.
think they should start doing that more too, because there's a lot of soundtracks out there and artists that should be recognized more for what they do.
Yeah.
Especially back then, because there's a lot of
It makes it more unique.
Yeah,
that soundtrack.
Exactly. And the film, I'm gonna give a right on too, because yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't too sure at the beginning, but then once stuff started happening, like
that first murder scene,
it's like that took me by surprise. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. What would you give the soundtrack?
The
Being
soundtrack,
a soundtrack kind of guy.
Yeah, then I would give it a sick.
So are you giving that a right on or a sick?
Oh, I give the soundtrack a sick.
Yeah.
And I give the movie a right on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. My initial viewing a few years ago, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't, I don't know, up there for me. After watching this presentation, for whatever reason, if it just was enough to pop, or after second viewing, I could appreciate it a little more. It's in probably my top 10 horror movies of all time now. And Suspiria, yeah, you guys pretty much nailed everything. The acting was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the acting.
Yeah.
You know, if there's anything wrong with it, is the story is a little simple.
Yeah.
But I think that was on purpose, right?
Yeah.
So he can focus on the style versus the substance, which some people don't
Yeah,
like.
his
but
style was definitely a
yeah,
big part of it.
And you know, for all those reasons, and the fact that I got my hands on this great set,
Yeah.
this is a sick for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't praise this anymore. So Suspiria, yay!
So what's the final? That's a right on then, right? 'Cause
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Suspiria is a right on. That's it for this week. Leave a comment. Something you'd like us to watch and rate. Let us know. Like, share, subscribe.
Talk
Thanks
amongst your friends.
Yeah, talk
Spread the
amongst
word.
your friends. Spread the word.
And watch Suspiria.
Watch Suspiria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check it out.
On Blu-ray in high def, 4K. No other way to see it.
Yeah. And if you're a big Blu-ray collector,
Yeah.
you know, jump on the Synapse site.
Yeah.
Also, Scream Factory, Arrow.
Yeah.
Destron's doing stuff.
This is the longest.
Trying to pitch everybody we
yeah,
want to like give us.
If you're a Blu-ray collector, those are the companies you want to look for, and you probably know that already. But if you don't, Synapse.
All right. That's another episode of Roadkill Reviews. We'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.
Witch ass! Witch ass! Witch ass!